Hey guys, now that many people are spending more time at home and in many cases using their home PC to game and work at the same time, some may be thinking of either buying a mechanical keyboard for the first time or changing it up because apparently my keyboard is too loud now that my partner is stuck at home as well. To help with this, we're going to be checking out different types of switches from Cherry MX as well as their latest keyboard. Let's dive right in. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I have used many different keyboards over the years, and not surprisingly, I have my own preferences. So what is the difference between membrane and mechanical keyboard? Their most obvious difference is the way they actuate. In the membrane keyboard, there are a few layers involved to make it work, such as the top membrane layer, holes layer, bottom membrane layer, as well as the conductive traces. When pressing on the key, the layers bend and the traces touch, thus creating a contact which results in a key press. In mechanical keyboard, this is done using switches. We'll take Cherry MX Red switch as an example here. By default, the key is holding the contacts apart. When the key is pressed, the stem moves down and contacts touch, which results in a key press. From this, we can see that the membrane keyboard by design is made of a mushy press, which normally lacks the tactile feedback, while the mechanical keyboard is, well, more mechanical, which definitely has a tactile feeling. These are the basics of operation for both. Quite frankly, there are a lot of different approaches to actually making a keyboard. There is, on the other hand, a common misconception that the membrane keyboards are bad. This is not the case. In fact, they are more portable as they are normally made out of plastic, which makes them quieter and cheaper. Naturally, there are pros and cons to everything. In this video, I'd like to delve deeper into mechanical keyboards, but do drop us a comment if you would like us to explore the secrets of membrane keyboards as well. For this video, we've managed to secure sample switches from Cherry MX. Here we have 6 different types: red, blue and brown, speed silver, silent red and black. There are 4 main differences between them. The first is switch type. It can be linear or tactile. Linear switches actuate when the switch is pushed all the way down, while tactile switch will trigger around halfway point. This is very obvious when comparing red to brown switches. In tactile switch lineup, there is also blue switch, which doubles down on a tactile feeling by also introducing a prominent click when pressed. To some, this is very satisfying, to others, incredibly annoying. The second difference between the switches is operating force, or better known as actuation force. It's basically how hard you need to push to activate the switch. Generally, switches require between 35 and 100 grams of force. From the ones we have here, black and blue switches are 60 and the rest being 45 gram, and the difference is actually very noticeable. What is the point of this though? Let's take gaming as an example. In fast FPS games, where you switch weapons or items, you want to have the ability to make an action quickly, so lower resistance may be preferred. But in more precision type games, where every misclick can lead to losing the game, you may want to go with something that holds more resistance. The third major difference is key travel, which in turn is split into 2. First is travel distance to register the input. This is on average around 2 mm, and the second is total travel distance until the key bottoms out. It's about 4 mm. There are exceptions, like these Cherry MX Speed Silver switches. They have 1.2 mm pre-travel and 3.4 mm total travel distance. The reason why you would need different travel distance is actually similar to the actuation force that we talked about earlier. And the last major difference, which at least in our household has become the most important one, noise levels. I've already mentioned blue switches. These are loud, and to my wife it's like nails on a chalkboard. Then we have black and silent red, which retain the original functionality with the added dampening and an extra super duper feature, which is it prevents you from getting a divorce. Personally, I prefer brown switches, as this is what I use on a daily basis. They provide nice tactile feedback, need a bit more force to actuate, thus making less misclicks, and sound levels are reasonably quiet. This leads me well to this keyboard from Cherry. It is Cherry MX Board 3.0S. It is the latest iteration of this keyboard, and this particular one uses brown switches. I'd call it a minimalist, full-size wide keyboard. While all the keys are standard size, the overall footprint is actually smaller than my daily driver, therefore making it a little bit more ergonomic. It does come at a cost though. The keyboard has some dedicated media keys and also shortcuts under function keys. However, there is no dedicated scroll wheel for sound, which is something that I'm personally very used to, and I have vividly felt the absence of it. With that being said, I do really like their build quality. Cherry has used extruded aluminum housing, which basically eliminates flex and makes it really solid. I wish it came with adjustable feet and maybe even a palm rest. Unfortunately, if you require those, you will need to buy them separately. One of the nice to have features is detachable micro USB cable, so if at some point that needs replacing, it is possible. The connection is recessed, so using your own custom cable will not be that easy. The most important element of any keyboard are the keys themselves, and as customary to Cherry, these are spot on. After all, they are a German company. Switches feel great and work great. Here's a quick sound test. This model has two options for keys, either double shot like we have right here, or front lasered. I personally prefer the covert look of the front lasered ones. If you are into RGB, then Cherry has got you covered. It comes with a bunch of effects as well as software to customize it. Alternatively, you can save some money and get the non-RGB version. Overall, this is a solid keyboard that is made out of premium materials and is obviously built to last. As I mentioned earlier, I wish it came with adjustable feet and sound scroll wheel. If it wasn't for this, I'd probably call it a perfect keyboard. But for now, there are still a few things that can improve on. As far as choosing which switches you should go with, well, that depends. In this video we've covered only Cherry MX switches and explained the difference between them, but Cherry is not the only brand out there. In the last decade there has been a massive push into the market, and now there are countless brands that do similar switches. You will first have to figure out what you're looking for, and then based on the main parameters I've discussed earlier, you can figure out what might work for you. Before going out and buying an expensive keyboard, I would strongly recommend going to a store and testing them out. Or alternatively, most switch manufacturers sell sample packs, which may be a good starting point. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. And we'll see you guys in the next one.